to our Sketchup lesson. This is the third lesson, and we are going to take the house we made yesterday and give it some more detail, make it look a little nicer. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some steps up to the front door, which we haven't put in yet, but I'm going to put the front door on this side. So this is our whole house. I'm going to come around to one side of the house, which is right here, and I'm going to put a front door on it. Now, what we want to do, we're going to put the steps. We want the steps to be as in exact a place as possible. We want them to be sort of right in the middle of the house. We want to not just draw them at a random place. So what we want to do is we're going to draw what's called guides. We're going to use a new tool called the tape measure tool. The tape measure tool allows you to draw a guide where you want it to be. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this tool, the tape measure tool. I'm going to go to the edge, and then it doesn't matter where on the edge I am. I'm going to click, and I'm going to start dragging this way. And you'll see that what happens is I have a dotted line. So what I'm going to do is I want this line to be 2 feet in from the door. So I'm going to type 2 apostrophe 2 feet, right? Now we have a line 2 feet in from the door. And now I'm going to come over to the other side. I'm going to click and I'm going to draw the line 2 feet in from the door. So now I should have two guides going in like this. And then I'm going to do one more. I'm going to come down to the bottom. I'm going to click. I'm going to pull up, and we want our steps to be 1 feet high. So I'll type 1 apostrophe. Okay, and now I have 3 guides, and you notice they're going to make a rectangle where my step is. So now I want you to do it. Go select your rectangle tool, select your tape measure tool, and draw a guide that's 2 feet in this way, a guide that's 2 feet in this way, and 1 feet in this way. Pause it, do that, and come back. Okay, now you should have 3 guides. Okay, and we're going to draw the bottom step with a rectangle. And so I'm going to select my rectangle tool, and I'm going to go to this X with the intersection. That's the bottom, right? And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go to my next intersection here, and there's my the shape of my bottom step. Okay? So you should do the same thing. Go and draw a rectangle inside your guides. Pause it, do that, and come back. Okay, so if you're back, you should now have a rectangle that is inside these guides. Let's draw one more guide because we're going to need a second step. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to start here, I'm going to click and then go up, and I'm going to be 1 feet more up. Okay, and I will draw another rectangle inside that area. So I'm going to pull my rectangle inside my guide. Okay, so I want you to draw a second guide that's 1 feet more up, and then draw a rectangle inside that second guide. Pause it, do that, and come back. Okay, so now you should have the shape of your 2 steps. Now we need to pull them out, and we're going to do that using our push-pull tool. Okay, so I'm going to go to my push-pull tool, right? I'm going to pull my first step. I want to start pulling it out. Remember, we click and pull. We don't click and hold it down and drag. And I'm going to type 3 feet. I want this step to stick out 3 feet. Okay? I want the second step to be half as big as the first one. And so what I can do is I could pull it out 1 feet 6 inches, but that's a lot of typing. So another way to do it, I'm going to click, I'm going to start to pull it out, and then I'm going to come here and I'm going to look for where it says the midpoint. And you'll see if I click and hold it and pull it over, then I pull over the midpoint, I'm going to be on the midpoint of my first step. So it'll be half as big as my first step. Okay, so what you should do now, you should pull your first step out 3 feet, and then pull your second step out to the midpoint of your first step. Pause it, do that, and come back. Okay, Now let's do our door. Let's make a door here coming up from these steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set guides for how big I want the door to be. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to my tape measure tool. Let's look at the front of the house again. I'm going to get my tape measure tool. I'll start from here and I'll measure, and I want this door to be 6 inches in from inside the step. So I'll put 6 and then a quote mark and then hit enter. And then I'll click on this side and I'll pull my door my guide 6 inches in from the step, hit 6, quote mark, enter, and then I want my door to be 8 feet high, so I'll come down here and I'll pull this up 8 feet, 8 apostrophe, and I'll hit enter. Now we have the area where my door is going to be. So you should do the same thing. Put a guide 6 inches to this side, 6 inches to this side, and another guide's 8 feet up from the bottom of the steps. Pause it, do that, and come back. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my door. I'm going to take a rectangle, and I'm going to click on my intersection and come down here to this place this intersection right here, and there's my door. So I want you to pause it, draw your door inside the guides, and then come back. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is make a door frame around the door. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my offset tool, which I did before, but I only want, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these parts out, but I only want to pull them out a certain amount. I only want to pull them out to this guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to only pull out the 3 lines by selecting the 3 lines. So this is a new way to use the offset tool. So I'm going to click the select tool. I'm going to click on this line. It should turn blue. If it doesn't, just click somewhere else and do it again until it turns blue. Then I'll click on this line. Oops, see, I selected the wrong thing, so I'll just click on it again. So this line turns blue, and then this line turns blue. So I have 3 lines turning blue. I'm going to click on my offset tool here, and I'm going to pull out to this guide. And then I'm going to let go. I'm going to click on it, I mean. Okay, now I'm going to click my selection and click somewhere else so nothing's selected. Okay, so now I want you to do the same thing. Select those 3 lines and then select your offset tool and pull it out to the guide. Okay, so now we have our door with the door frame. We'd like to pull the door frame out a little bit, so I'm going to take my push-pull tool. Let me order it to a better angle. I'm going to take my push-pull tool. I'm going to click, and I'm going to pull the door frame out. Let's pull it out by 3 inches. So I want you to do the same thing. Take your push-pull tool and pull your doorway out by 3 inches. Pause it, do that, and come back. Okay, now we have a nice door and steps, which is great. Now what we need to do is we need to add some windows to the side of the house. First thing I'm going to do though, I've got all these guides all over the place and they're a nuisance, so I don't really need them anymore, so I'm going to delete the guides. So I'm going to click Edit, and then I'm going to go down to where it says Delete Guides. That's going to make all your guides go away. Okay, so now I don't have to deal with those anymore. So I want you to pause it, go to SketchUp, click Edit. Okay, so now we've drawn a nice attractive door on our house. Come back next time and we'll make some nice windows.